Good morning everyone, and a very happy new year to you all. It's been a little while, hasn't it? I hope you've had a lovely break and that you've been safely enjoying some of the snowy weather, but I know it really can be a concern to some of us getting out and about in the icy weather, especially the pavements the way they are at the minute. So this class this morning, I know it's changed, I've changed a few of the classes. This is kind of your level 1 class. We're also going to be doing another class later in the week that's also a bit more of a level 1 too. And you're probably thinking, Sarah, there's a chair there and no mat out. Well, that's because I realised that there are quite a few of you who've been coming to classes at the studio who do struggle with mobility, and for whom kneeling and putting pressure on the knees isn't a great idea. It's not something you can either do or feel comfortable and happy doing. So I thought what I'd do with this functional class is I'd do most of it in standing. The chair is there if you need it. So I'm going to do the exercises, most of them, using the chair, and you can decide for yourselves whether you want to use the chair for a bit of support and as an aid, or whether you are happy to do it without. Okay, if you haven't got a chair to hand, because I didn't pre-warn you, did I? Kitchen counter, sturdy piece of furniture, even hands on the wall would do. But I am going to show you some squats and things actually using the chair. So with this class, as with all the classes, just make sure that you listen to your bodies, that you're working nice and safely and you are keeping yourselves safe. So if there's any modifications you need to make for issues or injuries, please do make those. If something doesn't feel right, maybe just stay at a much smaller range of movement at a lower level. Okay, so you're taking responsibility for your body and what you do with it during this class. Okay, so we're going to make a start. I'm going to have the chair handy, but I'm not using it to begin with. So I'm coming into my good standing posture, and it's a little while since we've done this, so let's just check. Have a peep down at those feet. Are your toes level? Are your feet parallel? Now I know from class, from saying this to some of you, you look down, you go, yeah, they're parallel, and you stood like that. So just check, are your feet actually parallel? Have you got the same gap between your heels and your toes? Okay, it might make your hips feel a little bit different, but that's okay. Alright, so just giving those toes a little wriggle, letting them stretch out. And we need to get ourselves a bit warmer, don't we? So let's take a breath in and lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, try and stay tall, but just let the shoulders relax down, and exhale some of that tension that you might be holding in the body. So maybe in the jaw, the neck, or the shoulders. So we take a big breath in, and we exhale. So find some activation in that breath for me if you would. So just keep that breathing going. As you inhale, we lengthen, and that's right the way, all the way up the body, up through the back of the neck. And as you exhale, we stay tall and we draw the core in and feel it tighten like a lovely corset around the body. Big breath in. And exhale through the mouth. Stay tall. Now let's add in a little head turn to that. Let's take a breath in, turn the chin over the shoulder. And exhale, bring it all the way across to the other side. Inhale. And exhale. Now just notice out of your peripheral vision, so without really moving the eyes, how much of your shoulder can you see? If you're right over your shoulder and you've pushed your chin forwards, just see if you can keep that chin back and just pivot in the centre. Okay, so rather than the movement being more chin over the shoulders, Think rotate, stay tall and in the middle, away from the shoulder, and centre to the other side, and centre. Wonderful. Let's give those shoulders a roll. Inhale, and exhale, open round and down, and again, breath in, and breath out. Okay, wonderful. Now this is where you might want to hold onto your chair or put your hand onto the wall. And we're just going to go into foot pedals now. So I'm resting one hand on. We're going to do one side at a time. So foot nearest the chair, because we're going to take the other arm up. Lift the heel, roll back down. Now if you don't need any support, take that support away, but you're still going to work just one side at a time, so that we can all stay together doing this. Really lift that heel. We've got two more here. Lovely. Heel down. Now, arms going up or across the chest, shoulders down. Now we're going to lengthen, lift away from your hips and stretch towards your support if you need it. And lift up tall, bring that arm back down. Let's take a breath in. Exhale. Hold for a breath in. And breath out. Now this is where we're really focusing on our breathing. Very good at keeping you healthy, especially if you've got any respiratory disorders. So we're going to hold, take a big breath into that open side, stretch it out. As you exhale, pull back up. Active breath. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Now hold for a big breath into that side. And exhale, coming back down again. Wonderful. Now from there, hold your support if you need to. Other leg, we're going to step it back. Now just make sure you can feel all your toes on the floor and you're not just on your big toe with that heel turned inwards. Get that little toe down and hips square. Let's take a little hinge forwards. We're going to come down into a lunge, keep it as small as you need to. So press down into your heel and push back up. Now if you don't need that chair, both arms. Press down into the heel and keep those shoulders forwards over your toes. Long spine. We've still got that core active. We're not letting it relax. And because you're looking sort of slightly downwards, you can see if both knees are going forwards or if one is collapsing in or out. So think about lowering those hips level, keeping the knees pointing forwards. We've got one more. And we're going to push up and step in. Right, let's do those on the other side. So if you have got support and you need it, let's turn ourselves around and we're starting with the foot nearest your support. So we're hip distance again, standing tall. Let's take that breath in, lengthen. As you exhale, keep that length in the spine. Feel that core activate. Let's lift one heel into your foot pedals. So it's a nice gentle start to January. If you haven't been doing much over the Christmas period, much exercise that is, then this is a nice way to ease yourselves back into it. So we're really lifting that heel as long as feet permit and it feels okay. So remember, take that hand away if you need to, if you feel able to. One last one. And heel down. Now we're going into our breathing with the side stretch. Let's take that breath in. The shoulder is down. We're going to exhale over. Now take a big breath into this side. Open it out. And exhale, pull back up and down. So remember, high blood pressure or shoulder issues, you might want to have your arm here instead. Inhale to get that stretch and exhale, coming back up tall. So we inhale, we exhale. Take that big breath in. We'll do one more this side, up and over. And down. Wonderful. Now we're stepping that outside leg back. Checking we've got all our toes down. You can feel that little toe on the floor. Hips are square to the front, and we're going to hinge forwards. Lengthen that spine. So we're coming down, press into the heel and push back up. So you can see if your knees are going forwards, is your hip twisting out to the side, so you can keep it underneath you and keep that core active. If you don't need your support, see if you can do it without. We've got two more. And one last one. And stepping in. Wonderful. Right. From there, I'm going to actually take both hands onto my support. Now, if you haven't got one, that's fine. You can do it without. You can put your hands against the wall, kitchen counter, whatever you need to. So if you're resting on, we're back to that hip distance. And we're going to step back just a touch so that we're arm's length, but we're not reaching and hollowing the chest. So make sure you can stand upright. And we're just going to peel one foot up, lift the knee, and I'd like you to step out to the side. And then step it back in. Same leg. Step it out and step it back in. Now I don't know if you can see, but I'm keeping my feet parallel. So rather than stepping out and turning that leg out, I'm pushing my heel out. So those of you who do tend to turn your legs out, this is a good one to think about. Push that heel out. Again, if you don't need that support, just do it without. We've got one more this side. Lift into that step and back in. Let's change sides. So we're staying tall, we've got that core active, we're peeling up and stepping out and back in. So think about how much or how little support you need. Can you do it without? Don't worry if not, that's what the chair's there for. But hopefully now you're starting to feel those hips working a little bit. So if you're pushing that heel out, and you feel it here, we've got one more on this side. And stepping back in. Okay, what we're going to do now is step in a little bit closer again so the arms are soft. And we're going to do a double heel lift. Now if you haven't got a support, just do your foot pedals alternating instead. Or that might be what you want to do anyway, but if you can you lift both heels and lower back down? Now just notice how much you are relying on that support. Notice what's happening in your feet. Where's that pressure going? Do your ankles feel wobbly? If they do you feel like you're pressing into your little toes? That might be the case. Now, see if you can press down into your second toe instead, and that should help to make your ankles feel a lot more stable. Now, if you can, we're going to hold this last one. So if you've not got support and you're doing your foot pedals, we're going to carry on. But this time we're doing them from above if you've got that support. So you're going to rise and then put one heel down. Rise and heel down. So hopefully you're feeling your calves doing quite a bit of work now. Lift those heels as high as you can. We're going to do one more each foot. And then rise up onto both toes. Can you hold a balance? Can you take both your arms off? Just see, shoulders down, stay safe. Can you hold it? And then we're going to go slowly down. Now let's give those calves a little stretch out. So pick one foot, doesn't matter which one, you're going to step it back. Make sure all your toes are down, and then begin to push your heel away. Okay, can you feel a nice stretch now? Shoulders open, and we're just going to take a little lunge forwards just to deepen that stretch. So lunge into it and then slowly recover. So we're not bouncing, it's a nice steady ease into that stretch. And let's do one more. Now, can you hold this one? Whichever leg is behind you, that same arm, can you take it up and reach forwards and up till you feel a stretch? Go all the way down that side of the body and into the hip. Big breath in, and then step in. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to step that leg back. Just check we can feel all our toes are down. And then push that heel away. So we've got the knees pointing forwards. Just into that little lunge. See if you can keep your heel down. And keep breathing, try and keep that core active. So you've got a connection into your centre. Now this last one, let's see if we can hold. Take the arm up, reach it forwards and up. Big breath in. And stepping back in. Okay, brilliant. Now we're going to build on that side to side movement a little bit more now. And again, you can use your support, you can do it hands free, entirely up to you. So we're stepping back a little bit. Collarbones wide, abdominals in. Now we're going to peel up into a bit of a bigger knee lift. Can you lift that knee? Now step it out. Can you come into your squat? Now lift up into your knee lift. So if you're doing this without support, you might be finding it quite challenging. You can, if you want to, do it sideways on. So you could peel up, come down into your squat, and up. Step it out, into your squat, and up. So knees pointing forwards, and up. You can make this small if you want to, little hover. And up, let's do one more. And up. Right, let's go to the other leg. So I realise I started that way, didn't I? So, changing legs. I know I'm going to do the same one for first bit, but if you've got both hands on the bar, lift that knee, step it out, come down into your squat, and see if you can pick it up and grow taller. Okay, if you're doing it sideways on, picking up that knee, stepping out, make sure those feet are parallel, come down into your squat, push up, lift the knee, step it out, squat. We're keeping that spine tall and keeping that chin nodded. So connect it to your collarbones. Stretch up through the back of the neck. We're going to do one more. Into that squat. And up. Wonderful. Now, I'm going to put the chair to the side for now. If you want to keep hold of your chair, you're going to work sideways on. But I'm just going to move it out of the way. And we're going to do a little bit of movement pattern now. So back to your good standing posture. Standing tall, we're going into our heel strikes and we're going to add in some rocking and movement just to challenge your dynamic balance. So it's going to challenge your core. Hopefully keep it nice and active because that's very, very important for your balance. So if we start with a foot pedal and then all the way up onto the toe, place the heel down just in front of you. So it's not a big step out, just in front of you. And let's pick it up and put it back down. Changing sides. So if you wanted to do this holding on to your support, you can, but when it comes to moving forwards and back, you might want to turn sideways and do one side at a time. Now, what are you doing with your arms? Have you got a little bit of an opposition arm swing? So whichever leg's going forwards, opposite arm. Now the reason for this is when we work on our coordination, it really does help to keep our brains healthy, and it's very important for staying safe and active. So if you can coordinate your movements, if you can have one body part doing one thing while the other side and another limb does something else, you're much more likely to stay safe, mobile and active as you age. So working in opposition, really important. Let's do one more each side. Now we're going to add in that little rock that I promised. So you're going to stay tall, keep that core active. Step onto the heel. Now rock forwards, rock back. Can you pick that foot up and down? So this is about transferring from one foot onto the other and in. So it's going to challenge your balance. Spread those toes out. Take it as slow as you need to. So we rock forwards, we rock back and step in. We're going to do one more each leg. And in. Wonderful. Now we are going to turn our legs out. Okay, so I want you to wrap from the hips. Feel that you're pulling the legs round right from the hips. We're going to stay hip distance and we are going to have a look at walking safely on icy pavements. Now, got to think like a penguin. Turn those legs out. Now normally when we walk, so you stay here, normally when we walk we do what we just did. You step forward and you push off that back foot. Now that's when you're going to slip. So we need to rethink how we move. We're going to waddle. So we want to have our centre of gravity slightly forwards. So think just a little lean forwards from the hips. And rather than pushing off your back leg, you're going to step onto one leg and step pressure onto that side. So you're transferring the pressure from side to side. Now, not that I recommend walking backwards on icy pavements, but we're going to go back now, just for the sake of having some room. So you're going to step onto it, small steps, side to side rather than forwards and back, and you're going to gradually move. So think slight weight forward, step, step, and that really is, so we're going to come back, let's do that again, legs turned out, pitched slightly forwards, step, transfer, and it does feel very different. So, keeping yourself safe on those icy pavements, that's the way to do it. And remember, hands out of your pockets, most definitely. Okay, so moving on from there, we're going to stay with the legs turned out a little bit. We want to work those hips a little bit more. So we're going to take a little plie and some lunges. Now you can make those arm movements as big as you want to, or keep them nice and small. But we're going to press the thighs back, lift the arms, and come back down. Now can you do that and keep your heels on the floor? So just as deep as you can keep your heels down. Now notice what's happening in your feet. Do you feel like you're rolling into your big toes? Press back. If you can't, make your turn out a little bit smaller. So I want you to think of working from the hip. Now if it's okay for you, if your blood pressure is okay, your shoulders are okay, let's take those arms up and down. Can you give me a big inhale, breath in, exhale. One more. Now, can you take those arms out? We're just going to do a little pulse. Can you just drop the hips a touch, squeeze back up. And we've got 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're pushing back up. Let's bring the arms down. Now, I'm going to step a little bit wider. You want to stay a bit narrower, please do. You want to hold on to your support, please do. But I'm going to take those arms out and we're going to lunge over onto one leg. Now I'm going to turn and come back up. So we turn so that we twist the body over that leg. Now if you've got osteoporosis or disc issues, if you've got degenerated discs, you might want to make this much smaller. Keep that breath flowing. Big breath in. Inhale. Exhale. Now if it's safe for you to go overhead, we're going overhead, otherwise take your hand across the chest. So we're going to go over. Can you reach? Feel that stretch all the way down this side. Big breath in. And up. Over. Inhale. Exhale. Really reach. So you could make this very passive and just kind of go over. I want you to reach, stretch it out so that you feel it into your hip. Let's stretch all the way from the hip to your little finger. One more each way. Last one. and bring the arms down. Let's give those shoulders a roll. Now, safely, just soften your knees, walk your toes in, and then your heels in, toes in, until you feel confident you can just stand back up again. Now, I'm going to come back to the chair. If you don't want to use your chair, that's fine. We're going to do some squats and some leg work. Now, you could do squats just in standing if you haven't got a sturdy chair. Now, we want to be aiming for the front third of the chair to sit into it. So if you sit yourself down first of all, and then just bring your heels back so that they're slightly behind your knees. Okay, plant the feet firmly, lengthen the spine. We're going to take the arms across the chest, and I want you to keep lengthening and hinge forwards. Now press down into your heels. Can you lift up? And sit back down. So we know where that chair is, we've measured it. If you want to, you can put your hands there to check that that chair is there. Now, very important we control on that lowering as well. So we're pushing through the legs. We hinge. Lower the hips till you touch the chair. So we're going forwards. This is you getting in and out of the car, getting up and down off the sofa, or your armchair, or your dining chair. Hinge and safely down. Let's do a couple more. One last one. Pushing up and down. Now, if you're doing this without the chair, you're going to hold a squat position and do what I'm about to do now. So now we want heels underneath the knees. If you're in a squat position, you're just going to hold your squat. We're going to take hands onto the thighs. If you're in your squat, you can just keep your hands wherever. Hips might be a good idea. And we're going to press gently forwards. If you're in seated, lift one heel. So we're going to alternate heel lifts, and you've just got a little bit of pressure onto it. Using a bit of resistance, this is going to help with our bone density. And because we're pressing down through the arms, it's going to help with the bone density in your wrists, as well as in your legs and ankles, so areas that are quite prone to fractures. So we're just going to press, keep that spine tall. We're going to do one more each foot. Now, if you've been in a squat, come up out of that squat and step yourselves back to hip distance, because now we're going to work those shins. So in standing, if you're in standing, if you're seated, we're just going to sit tall and we're going to open the shoulders. So just take the arms slightly behind you, but see if you can do that without popping the ribs forwards. So keep that lovely connection through the body, lengthen up. Now we're going to lift the ball of the foot off the floor and down. Lift and down. So if you're doing this in standing, it is quite a bit harder. And you might feel like you want to rock back. So just see if you can get that feeling of staying really upright and pulling up through your shin muscle rather than rocking back. So we stay tall, we pull up through that shin. And we're going to do one more each foot. And then I'm going to step the heels back again. So if you're in seated, join me, take your heels back. Let's do one last hinge forwards and push up into standing. Okay, now we do need to do a bit of upper body work. If you have your mat handy and you want to work down on the mat in 4-point position, You absolutely can. You know all these exercises. We're going to do some pinpoint arms and legs. We're going to do some push-ups. So you get your mats out and ready. Bring yourself safely down into your 4-point position with your knees under your hips, your wrists underneath your shoulders, and feeling that you're supported from underneath rather than hanging into your back. Okay, let's nod that chin. If you're using your chair, you can hold the back, or if you want to go a bit lower, a bit more challenging, hold the seat. But just make sure you've got your shoulders over your wrists. So I'm going to bring this chair back a little bit actually. So we're there rather than there. Okay, shoulders over wrists. Right, into pinpoint legs. So if you're on the floor in 4-point position, you can do pinpoint arms and legs. Let's slide one leg out. Lift. Down. And in. Let's change sides. Slide. Lift. Down. And in. So you'll notice I'm not letting my head drop down. So whether you're in 4-point position or using your chair, you should be able to see your shoulders out of the corners of your eyes. Let's do one more each leg. Now, if you need to, just release those wrists. We're just going to give them a roll or give them a rub. And then we're going to come back to that position. We're going to add on to what we've just done. Now, if you're in 4-point position and you want to just focus on the legs, you can do. So, coming back to that position. Now, I'm going to extend one leg out and lift. Now, I'm going to try and keep my hips square and take that leg out to the side and bring it back. Now, what's happening with your standing leg? Are you twisting your body into it, or are you staying nice and strong? So think about just moving that lifted leg, nothing else. Let's do one more. Now, that leg's lifted. Let's flex the foot. Can you lift your heel up and take it back down? So if you're in 4-point position, both hands on the floor, unless you want to be really challenging yourself, in which case you can have one arm, opposite arm lifted. Try and keep the knee at the same height. So rather than pumping the leg in and out, keep that knee lifted and lift the heel up to join it. We've got one more. And let's take that leg down, but keep it behind you. So if you're in 4-point position, come down onto your toes and just push your heel away. Just give that leg a little stretch out. And then if you're in standing, just soften your knees and step in. Let's go to the other side. So we lengthen the spine, we're drawing the shoulders back, extending that leg, we're going to lift it up. Not quite got enough room here. Lift it up, and we're taking it out to the side and in. The hips are staying square, just my leg is moving. So do notice if you feel like you're twisting to do it. Try and stay still. Keep that breath flowing. We've got one last one, and then we're going to flex that foot and curl in. Curl and stretch. Knees staying lifted. last 2. And then let's bring that foot down, and again just push your heel away. Push it away, give that leg a little stretch out. And then soften the knees if you're in standing and come back in. Now we're going into push-ups, so if you're in 4-point position and you're happy to stay there, you've got your stage 1 push-ups where you're going to lower your forehead between your fingertips and then push away from the floor. Okay, strong wide shoulders. If you're on your chair, we're going to do a similar thing. So what we're going to do is widen those shoulders. I want you to feel strong across your back, supported from underneath. We're going to bend those elbows away from us. Lower your head towards the chair, push back up. Now if that brings on sciatic symptoms, soften your knees. Yeah, we don't want to overstretch that sciatic nerve if it's aggravating it. So really push away from that chair or the floor. Do you feel like you're collapsing into your shoulders? If you are, you're maybe going a little bit deep for now. So maybe keep it shallower so that you can keep those shoulders wide and strong. Can we do one more? And you gradually get lower down as you get stronger. Now if you're in standing, just soften those knees. Step in. Curl up if you're down on the mat. Go back into your shell stretch. And if you've got your chair, we can come into our slump stretch. So we're just going to allow ourselves to relax forwards over those legs. And can everybody take a nice big deep breath into their back? Try and send that breath all the way to your hips. Inhale. And exhale. And on your next breath out, you're going to use your tummy muscles, curl up, lift through your core, all the way up tall. And then whatever is a safe and appropriate way for you, you're going to come up into standing. So let's take those heels back. If you're on the chair, come into your hinge and push up into your standing position. Wonderful. Right, from there, we're going to finish with a little bit of stretching and balancing. So if you need your chair, grab that chair. So we're going to start by standing up tall. If you've no chair, one hand on the wall, unless you feel confident to do this hands-free. We're just going to take one hand onto your chair or the wall and step the other leg back. Now can you take it on a little bit of a diagonal? We're going to take the arm forwards, the free arm. We're going to open out and stretch, reach to the fingertip. Now reach over the top and forwards, big breath in. Reaching up and bring it across again. So we open out, inhale, reach up and over, big stretch. Breath in and up. And bring it back. Let's step in. Take the other leg out. Slight diagonal. So we take that arm, we reach it across. We open out, stretch, inhale. Reach up and over. Stretch it out. Up. And across. Open out, inhale. Up and over. Reaching out and across and stepping in. Now I did say a little bit of balancing to finish with, so if you can, hands free, if you want something to hold on to, chair or the wall, but I'd like you to come into your little squat. Now can you lift up onto your toes? Come back down and into your squat. Lift up onto your toes. Now if you feel confident to, leave the arms here, push up. As you lift onto your toes, can you take one arm out and follow it with your head? Now stay safe, don't do this if you feel like you might fall over. Into your squat, push up, open out, and down. Very well done. Okay, let's just come back to our good standing posture, and we'll take soft knees and a big stretch up. Take a big breath in for me. Inhale and exhale. And very well done. So thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you want to see more with the chair, more with functional exercises like this, please do let me know. So Monday mornings, if you need to, have your chair, because we will be doing more and more sort of chair based. Of course, if you feel happy to and confident to, you can do it without, and that's absolutely fine. But just have that there for your functional exercises if you need to. And feel free to share this, you know, let people know that they can join the group. So if you know somebody who is struggling with their mobility or maybe can't kneel, has issues like that, then do let them know that they can join in, and there's some nice, safe and appropriate exercises for them to do on here. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and I will see you again tomorrow possibly. There's plenty going on all week, so lots to choose from. All right, stay safe.